Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. Today we're looking into something pretty wild.
Yeah, this is
It's called Hypnovibes and
Hypnovibes. Yeah, it's a YouTube channel that we found.
Yeah.
And it's a hypnotist, and she's doing this hypno channeling.
Yeah, so we've got Naomi the hypnotist.
Right.
And then we've got Jessica, who is being hypnotized.
Who's the channeler, right?
Yeah. And so through Jessica, they're channeling different entities.
Exactly.
But the one that we're really going to be focusing on today is Oliver.
That's right.
That's what Oliver
claims to be
in charge of.
Overseeing the energy of the universe.
The energy of the universe.
Yeah. It's a pretty big job.
It's a big job.
Yeah.
So in this session, we're going to be talking about some really interesting things.
Yeah.
Like eye twitching. The mystery of disappearing objects.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
And larger societal shifts.
Yeah, like pretty big stuff for one little YouTube video.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. Now, Oliver, speaking through Jessica, refers to eye twitching as a positive defense against chaotic energy. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's a really interesting way to look at it. A lot of times we experience things in our physical bodies that we don't really understand. Like even headaches or, just feeling kind of achy.
Right.
And we don't really know why. But what if it is our bodies trying to process energy?
Yeah, I mean, have you ever noticed, like, when you're in a really stressful situation?
Yeah.
That you might get a headache or...
Absolutely.
Your eye might start twitching.
All the time.
So it's like maybe our bodies are giving us these signals to try to tell us something.
It's like a warning system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this idea of chaotic energy, though...
Yeah.
It's kind of unsettling, right?
It is a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, like, what is he talking about? Is there just, like, bad vibes floating around out there?
Right. And is that what he's talking about when Jessica mentions that she's feeling some physical symptoms?
Yeah. It does seem like he's drawing a connection between the state of the world and our individual well-being.
Okay.
He even talks about this global unrest and uncertainty that we're all experiencing and suggests that this heightened chaotic energy is contributing to these feelings of unease.
So it's almost like we're all swimming in this sea of chaotic energy.
Exactly.
And it's affecting us.
Yeah, and we're all kind of absorbing it in different ways.
Okay, so then how did this tie into the whole disappearing pants thing? Because that just seems crazy to me.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, it sounds totally bizarre.
Yeah.
But it plays directly into this idea of chaotic energy and how it might be manifesting.
Okay, so remind me again what happened with the pants.
So Jessica's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And she's wearing these black pants.
Right.
And all of a sudden she looks down and they're gone.
Yeah.
Just vanished into thin air.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is. And it's like, what? What happened there?
Yeah.
So Oliver suggests that this disappearance is actually a demonstration of reality's fluidity.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So he's saying that reality isn't as solid and fixed as we think it is.
Exactly. He's saying that everything is constantly changing.
Yeah.
At an energetic level.
Okay.
And that the missing pants are a dramatic but very strange example of this principle.
But is he saying that we should just, like, let go of all of our possessions?
That's a good question. I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's talking more about non-attachment.
Okay.
Like recognizing that material things are temporary.
Yeah.
And not placing our sense of security or happiness solely on those external things.
So it's not about, like, literally getting rid of everything you own.
Right.
But it's about...
It's about shifting our perspective and not clinging to things so tightly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how does this then tie into the bigger picture of societal change that he talks about?
Well, Oliver talks about a general internal reconstructing that's happening globally.
Okay.
He's basically saying that people are re-examining their beliefs.
Right. And that there's a kind of death of what no longer resonates with them.
Have you ever felt that way? Like things just don't fit anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you try on an old pair of jeans and they just don't fit anymore.
They don't feel right.
Yeah.
And it's like that with beliefs too.
Exactly.
It's like you try on an old belief and you're like, wait, this isn't
me anymore.
This isn't me anymore.
Yeah.
So is he saying that this personal shift is somehow connected to those like external events that he mentions? Like the wildfires and the airplane incidents?
Yeah. It seems like he's drawing a link between this inner turmoil and the external events that we're seeing unfolding around us.
So it's like the instability that we're feeling internally is spilling out into the physical world.
Exactly. And he even predicts that we're going to see more of these types of events in 2025.
No, that's both interesting and a little bit scary.
It is a little bit, yeah. It's like oh, what's coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this chaotic energy is impacting us so much, how are we supposed to navigate it all? What does Oliver suggest?
Well, he emphasizes the importance of focusing on personal positivity
Okay.
and embodying the change that we wish to see in the world.
So it's like we have a role to play in shaping the energy around us.
Exactly. He believes that by cultivating inner peace and positivity, we can actually contribute to a more harmonious world.
Okay, that's powerful.
Yeah.
But, staying positive amidst all of this chaos, it's not easy.
Right.
What kind of practical advice does he give for those of us who are struggling to, keep our heads above water?
He doesn't really go into specific techniques, but he does emphasize the importance of self-awareness and aligning our actions with our intentions.
So it's about being conscious creators of our own reality.
Exactly, rather than just being passive recipients of external circumstances.
So let's shift gears for a second and talk about Jessica's struggle with technology, because she mentions feeling inefficient and frustrated. And I think that's something that a lot of us can relate to these days.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, who hasn't felt frustrated with technology at some point?
Totally. So what does Oliver have to say about that?
Well, it's interesting because he actually reframes Jessica's frustrations with technology as a potential sign to redirect her energy.
So instead of seeing it as a roadblock,
Yeah.
he's seeing it as a redirection.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like he's suggesting that maybe those feelings of frustration are actually a nudge from her intuition
Interesting.
to explore something new.
Something more aligned with her passion.
Exactly.
So those frustrations could actually be a good thing.
They could be, yeah. It's like a signpost pointing her in a new direction.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
So it's all about perspective, right?
Absolutely. And it ties back to that theme of change and adaptation that we've been talking about. Oliver's encouraging us to embrace change, be open to new possibilities, and trust that the universe is always guiding us towards our highest good, even when it feels a little chaotic.
It's like a cosmic pep talk.
It is. It's like, hey, don't be afraid to lean into the unknown and see where it takes you.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Well, let's talk about this whole AI integrated hypno-channeling.
Because that's next level.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what is that?
I know. So tell me more about that.
Okay, so
What does he mean by AI integrated hypno-channeling?
Oh,
And what are the potential implications of that? Because it seems like we're merging these two completely different realms.
right. So imagine the power of AI
Yeah.
with its ability to process information and analyze patterns and make connections.
Right.
And combine that with the profound insights that are accessible through hypnochanneling.
Yeah.
It's like creating a bridge between the analytical mind
Right.
and the intuitive subconscious realms.
Yeah. So instead of just accessing information through the internet,
Yeah.
we could potentially tap into this vast network of universal knowledge. Exactly.
And wisdom,
Yeah.
while we're in this deeply receptive state,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like having a direct line to the Akashic records.
Yeah, exactly. It's like tapping into the source.
Okay, now, my mind is officially blown,
Yeah.
but it also raises some questions for me.
Sure.
Like, what are the ethical considerations of using AI in this way?
That's a good point.
And how do we ensure that this technology is used responsibly?
Right. Because like any powerful technology, there's always the potential for misuse.
Right.
So it's crucial to approach AI integrated hypnochanneling with caution
Yes.
and to establish some really clear ethical guidelines
Absolutely.
for its development and application.
I want to make sure that it's used for good.
Exactly. For the betterment of humanity.
Right. And not for manipulation or control.
Right.
Which is always a concern with new technologies.
Absolutely.
But even with all this talk about the future and the potential of technology, I think it's important to remember that the most profound transformations often start within ourselves.
I agree. It all begins with that inner shift.
Right.
That willingness to look within.
Yeah. So what does that look like in practice? I mean, how can we as listeners take what we've learned from Oliver and Jessica and apply it to our own lives?
Well, I think it starts with awareness,
Okay.
paying attention to our thoughts, our emotions, our physical sensations.
Okay.
Noticing those moments of frustration,
Yeah.
those nudges from our intuition, those
Right.
creative sparks that ignite within us.
So it's about tuning into our inner guidance system
Exactly.
and trusting that it's leading us in the right direction,
Yeah.
even if the path isn't always clear.
Yeah, even if it feels a little messy or uncertain.
So we're tuning in, we're
Yeah.
trusting, we're taking action. What about this chaotic energy that Oliver talks about? How do we deal with that?
Well, remember, he emphasized personal positivity
Right.
and embodying the change that we want to see.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Okay.
Cultivating inner peace.
Okay.
Focusing on what we can control.
Right.
Our thoughts, our actions, our energy.
It's not about ignoring the chaos,
Right.
but it's about choosing how we respond to it.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like a shift in perspective.
It is.
Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the chaos,
Mm-hmm.
we can choose to be a source of calm and positivity.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe those small acts of kindness,
Yeah.
those moments of connection,
Yeah.
those expressions of creativity,
Right.
maybe those are the things that will ultimately help to create a more harmonious reality for all of us.
I love that. It's like we have this ripple effect,
We do.
and our actions can create positive change.
Absolutely.
So this conversation has really got me thinking
Me too.
about the power of our own energy
Yeah.
and the choices that we make every day.
And the potential that we all have to make a difference.
Absolutely.
It's been a really interesting deep dive.
It has. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to bring it back to you, the listener.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have from eye twitching to disappearing pants to AI.
It's a lot.
It is.
But as fascinating as all of that is,
Yeah.
the real magic happens
When
when we take these insights.
and apply them to our own lives.
Exactly. So let's leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
Imagine for a moment that you had the opportunity to connect with universal knowledge through hypnochanneling. What would you ask?
What burning question would you pose to the universe?
What secret would you seek to unravel? What wisdom would you hope to gain?
Take a moment to really ponder that, because even though this part of our deep dive is coming to an end,
Yeah.
your personal exploration is just beginning.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about accessing information, it's also about like personal growth, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine being able to work through those like limiting beliefs or tap into your creative potential or even heal past traumas
Yeah.
while you're in this heightened state of awareness
Right.
and being guided by the wisdom of like AI and the universe.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. But it also raises some ethical questions for me.
It does.
You know, like how do we ensure that this technology is used responsibly?
Right. We want to make sure that it's used for good and not for,
Right.
controlling people.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely something to think about. But even with all this talk about technology in the future, I think it's important to remember that real change starts within.
Absolutely. It's about that inner transformation.
Yeah. So how can we as listeners take what we've learned and apply it to our own lives?
Well, I think it starts with paying attention to like our thoughts and our emotions
Okay.
and our physical sensations. Like noticing those moments when we're frustrated
Yeah.
or those intuitive nudges or those creative sparks.
It was about tuning into our own inner guidance system.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
trusting that it's leading us in the right direction, even if it doesn't make sense right away.
So we're tuning in, we're trusting, we're taking action.
Right.
But what about all that chaotic energy? How do we deal with that?
Well, remember, Oliver talked about focusing on personal positivity
Right.
and being the change we want to see. So it starts with like cultivating inner peace.
And focusing on what we can control.
Yeah.
Our thoughts, actions, and energy.
It's not about ignoring the chaos.
No, it's about choosing how we respond to it.
So instead of being overwhelmed by it, we can choose to be a source of peace
Exactly.
and positivity.
And maybe those small acts of kindness, those moments of connection,
Yeah.
those expressions of creativity, those are the things that can really make a difference.
I love that. It's like our actions have a ripple effect.
Exactly. We're all connected.
And we can create positive change just by being ourselves.
Absolutely.
So this conversation has really been eye-opening for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into hypno-vibes,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Imagine that you could connect with universal knowledge through hypno-channeling.
It's a powerful thought.
It is. What would you ask? What secrets would you want to uncover?
What wisdom would you seek?
Because the journey of self-discovery never really ends.
It's a lifelong adventure. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, it's been fun exploring these ideas with you.
Yeah, it really makes you think. Huh. What would you ask?
That's a good question.
I mean, there's so much out there that we don't know.
Right, like what are the mysteries of the universe?
Yeah. What are the secrets to happiness and fulfillment?
Mm-hmm. Or how can we create a better world?
Exactly. There's just so much to explore.
And it's all right there waiting for us.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive into hypno-vibes,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that we've just scratched the surface here.
Absolutely.
This is just the beginning of our own personal exploration.
Right. The real journey starts now.
Exactly. So keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking those answers that resonate deep within you.
And don't be afraid to embrace the unknown.
Yeah, because sometimes the most unexpected discoveries are the ones that change our lives the most.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into hypnovibes.
We hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
When I count to 3, the energy will be here. 1, coming through this body. 2, almost here. And 3. Hello.
It's Oliver.
Oliver, very good. Nice to hear from you again. So I was thinking about you. And so can you tell us about the eye twitching?
It does not need to be explained at the moment.
It happens to, I think, to everyone. And usually it's one eye. There is a spiritual meaning.
It could be.
And it's a positive.
Depends how you see it.
Anything else? That since you are very, how to say, there's nothing related to energy that you are not aware. Can I ask you that I don't cough when I'm awake, but when I lay down and then I cough a lot. I'm not sure what is this for.
Because the energy in the world right now is very chaotic.
In the where?
The energy on your world right now is very chaotic.
Oh,
So there's all sorts of different physical symptoms that people are experiencing.
I see. So let's say Jessica was healing herself for a couple of weeks.
The movement of energy going in and out.
I see. And it seems there going to be some sort of a disclosure tomorrow.
We do not know that.
In the social media, people are talking about that.
Yes, but if it provokes fear in you, then do not pay attention to it.
What else? Oh, I want to ask you. I was thinking, does not make sense. I have a pair of pants, black one, with, how to say, kind of a winter time, and it just disappeared.
Things like that happen all the time because nothing is really physically solid.
But it did not happen, how to say, this way often, at least. And sometimes I don't find, and then it came out later. But this time it just totally.
Maybe it'll come back again.
So what is the purpose for things like that to disappear?
Sometimes that's just to show you that's how reality really is and how reality works.
Just for us to be aware.
Yes, a reminder sometimes.
So can you tell us a little bit more about right now what is going on in the world?
Collectively,
Yeah.
there's a general
Internal
reconstructing on a general level, depends from individual to individual. There's a re-examining of themselves and their beliefs, and the depth of this
Is what?
varies on an individual level. People generally overall are re-examining their beliefs. They're asking themselves, I don't feel happy because what no longer resonates with me. So there's a general shift going on internally as well as externally.
So tell me, so let's say the wildfire
That's one example.
or some airplane incident.
External of bringing what was hidden in the dark to light, and there will be more of that.
So in 2025, I think a lot of things will happen. So for example, Monday, right? So Trump will be officially become the president. You think after that will be more things will come to the surface?
Hard to say exactly what. It's very important to live life in the present.
Say,
We do not give predictions because the energy levels can change moment to moment.
right.
But the most important thing is not to expect or try to predict what will happen in the future, but always to make sure that to keep yourself generally on a higher positive level, embodying the change that you want to see in this world. That's the only way you can actually experience reality the way that you want to experience it.
Right.
That's the only thing you can control is yourself. So if you want to see more positive changes outside, then just focus on being the positive change yourself.
Right. I know that's always the case. Sometimes, let's say last week, I felt when I'm using the computer to do anything, I feel there's some sort of resistance. I just get lost, and I get very frustrated. It's also
Can be what?
part of the energy is just changing very fast.
Yes, it could be very much. Because you have to remember, we're all connected.
Right. And I did not feel this way before. I feel nothing really works and I'm not being efficient.
Well, if nothing is working, then what in the moment is more exciting than that?
So,
It may be trying to redirect you,
right. So this is something that we might not know all the time. Sometimes
which is
we
okay.
you try and try harder, but if really does not go to anywhere, we just change, shift to a different direction.
Yes, because it is your internal system trying to guide you. But there is something else perhaps in this moment that is more exciting for you to pay attention to.
Sometimes
You cannot insist that you have to be doing something in this moment.
right, I see. I feel it's kind of strange. I get frustrated, but before that was not the case. And also, I asked this question before, maybe to someone else. So I feel I probably is gonna shift to do other things, maybe writing the books and doing the podcasts.
Yes, whatever excites you the most in the moment. You don't have to stick to what you used to do.
Right. It's not like we do the same thing forever. And I'm excited to use technology to make the workflow a little bit easier, faster, so we can be more efficient and do other things. And I guess I feel that's to 2025, I'm going to do more things so that, how to say, people might not really be aware about hypnochanneling, but I'm going to do that and to let people know you can just use this way. Either you can be hypnotized.
And there is a way of interconnecting AI with hypnochanneling.
Oh, tell me about that.
That's for you to explore.
Interesting. Now my mind is running. I'm very excited. I feel, right? I tell people, hey, you can be hypnotized, and then I can invite the energy to come through your body for you to, right, have that experience. Or we can use a different body, right? And that is something that I don't see anyone else is doing.
Yes.
And we can really have access to all the secrets, the universal knowledge. And it's fascinating, exciting. And anything else about this office, about working with Tina or working with Jessica like this way, and anything you
Just allow things to organically come. There's no need to plan.
at all?
Planning is insisting.
It's a controlling. I see. Very good. And I like to talk to you once in a while like this to give us more clarity, because there are so many things are happening every day, everywhere, and it's going to be very exciting this year.
Yes.
We can never be bored.
It's good that you can see it like that.
It's not easy to always think positively.
Of course.
So when I get lost in doing things with a computer, I feel what I'm doing, maybe this is not for me, but only lasts for one day. Thank you very much again, and I will speak with you soon.